All right, so if you've been keeping up with crypto, you've definitely noticed that the conversation in 2025 has, well, it's completely changed. We're so far past just watching the prices go up and down. The real story, the exciting part, is in the technology underneath it all. We're talking about blockchain tech that's finally making a real difference in data, in AI, security, and even in the actual physical economy. So, yeah, let's get right into it. And this quote right here, this is exactly what we're talking about today. It's really our guiding star. We're going to cut through all the noise, all the hype, and focus on the foundational stuff, the projects that are actually rewriting the rules of our digital world. Seriously, this isn't about speculation anymore. It's about the tangible tech that's being built like right now as we speak. So here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll take a look at this new digital frontier. Then we'll get into the foundations, the real nuts and bolts holding it all together. After that, we'll see how all these different projects are connecting to become one big ecosystem, how they're bridging the gap to the real world, and finally, we'll zoom out and get a glimpse of what's coming next. You can kind of think of it like we're building a digital city from the ground up, blueprint by blueprint. Okay, so first up, the new digital economy. We are officially moving past the speculation phase and into seeing how blockchain is making a very serious, very real impact on data, on artificial intelligence, and on the actual economy that we all live in. You know, to build anything that's meant to last, you need a solid foundation. It's true for a house, and it's definitely true in the digital world. For all these cool new applications to run at the speed we expect, they need infrastructure that isn't just fast, but also super efficient. And that brings us to two really crucial words for today: modularity and scalability. Let's break those down. Let's start with modularity. And the name you gotta know here is Celestia. They are true pioneers in this idea of modular blockchain. See, instead of one giant, clunky, do-it-all blockchain that eventually just gets clogged up, a modular design separates the core jobs, like execution, settlement, and especially data availability, into their own specialized layers. It is a total game changer for efficiency. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. On the left, you've got that old monolithic model, clunky, slow, rigid. But on the right, Celestia's modular approach is agile, it's secure, and it's incredibly adaptable. Think about it like this. Say you're building a decentralized finance app that needs top-tier security and lightning-fast transactions. Instead of building an entire blockchain from scratch, which is a huge task, you can just plug into Celestia's specialized layers. It's really that simple. So if Celestia is laying down our city's foundations, then Sonic is building the high-speed, multi-lane highway right on top. It's a Layer 1 blockchain built for one thing and one thing only: insane performance. We are talking about the kind of speed and security that can handle massive, massive user growth without even breaking a sweat. This is the infrastructure that's going to power the next wave of apps. Okay, so we've got strong foundations and super fast highways. Awesome. But a city is more than just buildings and roads, right? It's about connection. So now we have to figure out how all these different projects, these different neighborhoods, can all work together smoothly and safely. Let's see how those digital bridges are being built. And that brings us to the next really big question. How in the world do we get all these different blockchains to communicate and collaborate with each other securely? It's a puzzle the crypto space has been trying to solve for years. And this is where EigenLayer comes in with what is, frankly, a brilliant idea. It lets the ether that's already staked, locked up to secure the Ethereum network, be reused to protect a whole bunch of other projects at the exact same time. The master key metaphor is perfect. Instead of having to forge a new complex lock for every single door, you get to use the proven, incredibly robust security of Ethereum to unlock and protect tons of other doors. It's all about shared, leveraged security. It's so efficient. Shared security is a massive step, for sure, but these blockchains still need a way to actually talk to each other. That's where Layer 0 comes in. They're tackling one of crypto's oldest problems, the fact that every blockchain used to be its own isolated island. Their omni-chain messaging system is basically a universal postal service for the digital world, letting money and information flow freely and securely between all these different networks. Now, if we take this one step further, we get to Qubix. This isn't just about connecting the chains, it's about making life way easier for the developers who are actually building the apps we're all going to use. Qubix gives them the tools to make their apps work across multiple chains at once without them having to wrestle with all the crazy technical details. This is a huge deal because it just speeds up innovation like crazy. All right, with all that infrastructure in place and everything talking to each other, we finally get to the really good stuff. The stuff you can actually see and touch, metaphorically speaking. Now that our digital city has its foundations, its roads, and its communication systems, we can see what kind of businesses and services are actually moving in. Let's see how this tech is finally crossing that barrier between the digital and the physical world. Let's start with data, which is pretty much the lifeblood of our entire digital world. I mean, in an age of misinformation and deepfakes and everything else, can we ever be 100% sure that the data we're looking at is accurate and hasn't been messed with? Well, a project called Space and Time has developed something that honestly sounds like it's straight out of science fiction. You can query a database, and the answer you get comes back with a cryptographic guarantee of its accuracy. In plain English, that means we can be absolutely certain that the data is correct and hasn't been altered, and we don't have to rely on some trusted middleman. The implications for industries like finance or logistics, where data integrity is everything, they're just massive. And from data, we have to talk about artificial intelligence. You're going to want to keep an eye on Aura because what they're doing is building a decentralized cloud specifically for AI. They combine blockchain with cloud storage, which allows AI models to work with what's called tokenized data. That's data that is secure, verifiable, and whose origin you can always trace. This completely changes the game for how AI is trained and used. And that brings us to one of the most exciting concepts in crypto today, the tokenization of real-world assets, or RWAs. Projects like Lumia are right at the forefront of this. The whole idea is taking a physical asset, like a commercial building or shares in a company, and representing it as a digital token on a blockchain, all while making sure to follow all the rules and regulations. They're literally building the bridge between traditional finance and this new digital economy. And this quote it sums it up perfectly. I mean, just think about that for a second. A regular small investor can buy a single token that represents a tiny piece of a huge commercial building, an asset class they never, ever could have dreamed of accessing before. This is what the democratization of investment actually looks like. It's opening doors that were previously bolted shut for most people. Wow. Okay, deep breath. We just went on a whirlwind tour. Let's take a second to put all these pieces together, look at the big picture that's forming, and maybe peek over the horizon to see what's next for our digital city. So, to wrap it all up, you can see how the major trends of 2025 are all connected, right? Modularity gives us that solid base to build on. Shared security acts like a shield, protecting the whole ecosystem. Interoperability makes sure everything can communicate seamlessly. And all of that working together lets us do these incredible things like tokenizing real-world assets and creating brand new AI applications. And we have to pause here because this is so important, so listen up. Just because a technology is innovative and fascinating does not mean it is a safe investment, not even close. It is absolutely crucial that you do your own research, that you understand exactly what you're getting into, and that you know the risks involved. Please, be careful out there. And if we look even further ahead, the possibilities get even more interesting. So what's next? Well, imagine smart contracts that are actually powered by AI. Or a hybrid financial system that takes the best of both the old and new worlds with clear, fair regulations. And maybe eventually entire token-based economies inside fully digital worlds. The future is literally being built as we speak. When you put it all together, all these projects teach us one really important thing. The real value isn't just in the price of a token anymore. It's in the technology behind it. A technology that's already revolutionizing data, finance, and really our entire digital lives. This innovation isn't something that's coming someday, it's happening right now. And so the question all of this leaves us with is pretty simple, but it's a big one. Are we ready for this new digital economy that is already knocking at our door?